welcome to Golf Betting Club's The Closing Stretch. Mind you, maybe today we should be calling it the halfway stretch. I don't know. We're after round 2 of the Arnold Palmer Invitational at Bay Hill. I'm Diane Knox Balas, and the brothers from Golf Betting Club are here, Duncan and Neil. Now, we should explain that the reason we're not doing this on Sunday is that we had something in the diary already and we couldn't reschedule stuff. So we thought, well, let's jump on after round 2, once the cut has been made, and we'll give you some bets and tips heading into the weekend. So Duncan, a little bit different for us, but this is something you guys do anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. We do the in-play blogs on the website, every week anyway for the PGA Tour and for the DP World Tour. So it's something that we do. So we thought, why not just make the most of the day and put out a show, even though we couldn't do the regular Sunday show.
Neil, we were texting earlier because we were like, oh my gosh, is this going to be another runaway week? However, afternoon on Friday around Bay Hill, things got really interesting, and Victor Hovland sits at the top of the leaderboard by himself on 9 under par. But there's a lot of really good names, especially for this course, that are right behind him.
Yeah, well, you just gradually saw Rory getting more and more frustrated this afternoon, didn't he? Victor was just flawless earlier on. When he turns it on, he really is hard to oppose, isn't he? The one thing that's maybe putting me off Victor is the forecast for the rest of the week. So the weekend we're expecting like 15 mile per hour winds, so a little bit breezier than we saw in the first 2 days. So I think it's not quite as clear cut as there's just sort of these 5 guys at the top in it. I think the 3 unders could still have something to say.
So you don't like Hovland in the wind, is that what you were saying?
No, Hovland's capable in the wind, but the wind throws variable factors. It can be double bogeys round the corner. I just think if it's calmer, he could just get away. But yeah.
I mean, Tyrrell Hatton's right there on 7 under par. Dunky's a former champion here, and the year that he won, remember, the weather was crazy and the scores were like really high. But again, you have someone like Hatton who's got that winning memory around Bay Hill, and it does crazy things for them.
Yeah, like absolutely. That year was particularly windy, wasn't it? And if the wind does pick up over the weekend, he's really going to be rubbing his hands together, and he's going to really fancy his chances. Neil and I spoke before we did the recording of the show tonight. We spoke about Hatton and whether he might be one that we can get involved with, due to the quality that he has in the wind. But he's not actually been playing, that well tee to green this week. The score that he's on has really been made with the putter in hand. I think Neil said earlier on that he'd hold over 100 feet of putts in today's round. And when you look at his stats, he's losing strokes from strokes gained approach, and he's only marginally gaining strokes off the tee. So it's really the kind of short game that's been saving him this week. And whether that continues on during the weekend, we'll have to see. But that was a little bit off-putting for both of us.
Well, another guy at 7 under par is another guy who loves this place, former champion in Rory McIlroy. And Neil, I mean, right now looking at strokes gained off the tee and tee to green, Rory's number 1.
Yeah, especially his driving's been great. His approach play was a little bit off today. It's just like such a Rory thing to do, like get off to a hot start and then just throw in a sort of mediocre second round. And that might just be his bad round of the week. And he'll get back to doing what he was doing on Thursday. But for me, like he lead, I think I seen a stat, he's led 31 times after round 1, and he's only closed like 17% or something like that. So it's just not good enough for a player of like his ability. So he's not favourite anymore. So maybe that'll suit him. I'm not sure.
Well, we saw a collapse on the 72nd hole just a few weeks ago, didn't we? So, right, well, let's get into the nitty gritty. So heading into Saturday, who are you looking at? Who are you tipping?
So we're in a sort of good position, but it could be better, as in we don't have any of the top 5. But we did tip up Paul Casey and Cameron Young at the start of the week. So they're both in 3 under par, and stats-wise, they've impressed. Like Paul Casey is leading the approach play stats. His driving's been terrible this week. So if he can improve, he could make a run at it. And Cameron Young's just a brilliant driver of the ball. So if the wind's up and he can keep the ball in play, it could be in his favour. But there is one we want to add, and I think the value at the moment is with Sam Burns, who's available at 45-1 at the halfway point. Sam has kind of had a weird start to the season. He's had a few missed cuts, but today he seemed to be striking the ball much better. And what I like about Sam is that he's already got a history of coming from quite far back. So if you remember last year, the World Golf Championship, when he lost to Abraham Answer, he came from 8 back on the final day. So I know we're only at the halfway point, but he's got time to make up the ground, and if he can get a low one in tomorrow, I think he's got a great chance for Sunday.
Okay, all right, Dan.
He had a great chance of winning it in the Hero as well, didn't he? Before he had that implosion on the 14th hole, where he ended up taking. Well, he ended up triple bogey or something like that. But he was 6 back starting the day behind Morikawa. And I know Morikawa kind of threw a lot of the shots away and kind of allowed the others back into it. But it was still a round where Burns almost got over the line other than that hole. So he's like Neil says, he does have good history of making comebacks.
Yeah, he's just such a good all-round player. Okay, Dunk, anyone else that you're looking at right now?
No, I think in terms of where we are in the Arnold Palmer, we've obviously got the pre-event bets that Neil's mentioned, and we've got some good top 20 positions from before the start as well. So I think we're pretty happy with the position. Obviously Hovland is going to be the man to beat. Mm-hmm. He just looks incredible at the moment, doesn't he? And in some ways, Hovland winning wouldn't be a complete disaster for us. We have Hovland tipped up to win the money list this year in America, so a win for Hovland wouldn't be an absolute disaster. Yeah. But he's certainly the man who looks too good at the top.
My two picks at the start of the week were Will Zalatoris as my outright favourite, and then great start, but the putter. You're just filled with anxiety watching how anxious he is over these 5, 4, 3-foot putts. He 3-putted from 4 foot today. And then my dark horse at 175-1 was Bo Hostler. And I know you guys have looked at Bo as well. And okay, he shot 74 today, but he's still 3 under and in a tie for 6th right now. So he's in a good position.
He's not out of it, but his driving today was pretty much abysmal. That's as good as I could put it. So I've got to admit we've got him in a top 20, but it's one of more optimism rather than thinking he's going to actually get that done now. That's funny. No, I think half of Twitter was on Will Zalatoris this week, so it was quite. I'm sure there'll be a lot of unhappy people out there today about how he performed.
What were you going to say, Dunk?
I was just going to add in that being on Hostler top 20 is one of those ones where you want them to do well, but you don't want them to do too well. You don't want to miss out on them, having that win or even getting a good top 5 finish. Yeah, that's perfect.
That would be a good place for him to be. Right, okay, well, especially with the wind picking up and the rough this week around Bay Hill is very penalising. So, as we said, Victor Hovland leads by 2 at the end of the second round with Hatton, Gooch and McIlroy right behind him at 7 under par. Right, guys, thank you very much. And, even though we are doing the show today being Friday, you're still going to be obviously giving tips for the weekend and let everyone know where they can find them.
Yeah, so you can go into golfbettingclub.com where we do the in-play blogs and the in-play tips. You can find everything that you want to know on there. After every round, we post the blogs and give the tips. And you'll find it on us on Twitter as well, so at Golf Betting Club. And we post on Twitter every time we put a blog on the website. We put a post on Twitter just to let you know that our blog's now gone up as well.
Yeah, but it's not just posts about the blogs. You guys are actively tweeting all the time following the tournament. So it's a very entertaining follow. I know I'm a little bit biased, but it definitely is. Right, and of course you can follow along with our show, The Closing Stretch, usually out on a Sunday before the final round, but it's on YouTube and the podcast on all the podcast apps and websites. Neil, next week it's my big hometown event with the Players' Championship, and I have to say I've already heard that the rough is looking thick and nasty at TPC Sawgrass. You look happy to hear that.
I'm always happy. I like to see them struggling the way we do, so... The more rough, the better.
Exactly. With a $20 million purse up for grabs too, which is just insane money. So a lot on the line and a lot to talk about next week right here on Golf Betting Club's Closing Stretch.